All right, and welcome back to the forecast card. Pretty mediocre day. Basically a nothing burger. Got kind of lucky with one of my cash outs on the Astro game. I don't know how all your books work, but for mine, if the game gets postponed at all, totals are just immediately um, voided, even though the total was already over 8.5. So some of you may have had a slight red day if you tail everything. I'm not sure if that many people do, but if you do, basically a nothing burger. Mets, they had their chances. They had 12 left on base, but again, the Cardinals had 11 left on base. This game was a complete toss up of a game. Mets had so many chances down the line, but unfortunately, the two big dogs just didn't do much today. Lindor went 1 for 5. Soto went 1 for 4. They just didn't show up when it mattered the most. So a bit of a bummer game, but it is what it is. Royals Orioles over 9, pretty sweat free. Red Sox run line. It looked okay for like a little bit, and then the bullpen for the Red Sox just completely imploded. Crochet obviously had a great start as usual, but the second he got pulled, they just started giving up tons of base runners over and over again. So it sucks that Crochet only went 5 innings, but I expected him to go a bit further. Pirates first five money line, terrible bet. I still liked the spot, but it didn't end up working out. Pirates offense just went dead today. 0 runs, which is pretty impressive against a guy like Kolek, who had a really, really good start. He just got lit up. Heaney did not look very good. Rays run line could have taken the money line as well. They end up winning that game pretty sweat free. Guardians and Jays over 8. It should have been sweat free, or at least it felt like it was going to be. I think it was 4-3 by like the third or fourth inning, and then there's like 10 or 5 innings of nothing until like the very end of the game, where the Guardians got a couple runners on. So thank God for that. Athletics money line. I'm not going to say sweat free. That game was really neck and neck the entire game, but thankfully the Athletics come through. Phillies first five. Again, they almost end up with a crazy comeback, but always a risk when you take a pitcher coming off the IR. He looked absolutely terrible. 7 earned runs, 2 walks, 7 hits. Just imploded in 1 inning, and that completely costed us. Brewers money line, pretty sweat free. They end up winning this game 4-0. Astros White Sox under. Again, that's one game that got rained out. Mariners money line. The price was way too good to be true. I fell for their tricks, but at plus 150, it was hard to not take the best offense on in baseball to have a chance. But the rookie or whatever, I'm not even sure if he's a rookie, but his debut was pretty mediocre. Giants first five run line. They end up winning the first five 4-0, so pretty sweat free. Or 4-1. Tigers run line very sweat free. They win like 13-1. Nationals first five money line. Unfortunately, they end up winning the full game. So taking the first five ended up pushing, but it is what it is. And the Dodgers Braves over. It was so close to being a guaranteed push. The Dodgers had, I think, at the very end, a runner on third on only one out, and they just struck out twice. All we needed was a base hit or a sac fly, and that would have made it 4-4, and then we would have, at bare minimum, gotten a push. So that one kind of sucked. But yeah, overall, decent day. Pretty shitty. I was golfing almost all day, so I honestly didn't watch almost any of these games except for the Dodgers one. But yeah, let's get into the small slate for tomorrow. I really don't like anything tomorrow. Like, I don't love anything. So if you want to skip a video, you can, obviously. But I'm going to be betting every game like I will do for the rest of the season. All right, heading on to game number 1, we have the LA Dodgers heading on the road to play the Miami Marlins. Now, this line is extremely suspicious to me. I guess it makes sense because the Dodgers are playing a bullpen day, but they probably have, in my opinion, the most, like, not necessarily the most talented bullpen, but probably the most deep. And Ben Kasperi probably has a good chance of going 3 to 5 innings, depending on what they're doing. Because Glasnow, again, still in the IL. It seems like they're trying to find another pitcher from their bullpen to make become like a regular rotation guy. And Kasperi has been really good, 3-0 on the year. He's looked really, really good. And yeah, again, Miami versus righties at home have not been necessarily that great. Bottom 10 offense. They've been a decent against righties on the road. But again, for some reason, when they play at home, they hit significantly worse. You could say the same thing for the Dodgers. On the road, they're like a pretty bad team, honestly. If you look at their advanced analytics, they're like a bottom 10 offense. But again, Shohei is back. Freeman is back to being healthy. I think Dodgers coming off a pretty rough loss yesterday is going to be kind of motivate them. I think they get to Sandy Alcantara, who's looked really bad. I think everyone thought he was going to be like the next, elite pitcher after becoming a dad, but and yeah, he's been pitching fine at home. I just don't see it. He's still giving up a ton of hits and earned runs. He has yet to give up less than 2 earned runs in any of his starts. Ben has looked really good. He has never really had any road starts. So he hasn't given up any runs when he has pitched in the bullpen on the road. But he hasn't really had any true starts yet this year where he's went more than 4 innings. But again, he's looked really good. He's outside of one game against the Cubs, he's basically went every inning scoreless. Like, he's a pretty solid pitcher. Again, he's a bullpen arm, and we'll see what ends up happening after that. But I think I just trust the Dodgers a bit more than this Miami team at home. Sandy Alcantara has a really bad history with this Dodgers lineup. 137 at-bats. He's given up 45 hits, a batting average of .328, an OPS of .945. So this line really sketches me out, especially when Dodgers are, whatever the odds are, minus 175 against a team that they should, in theory, be like negative 300 against on any regular day. I'm definitely a little bit sussed out, but I have this model that's a 3-point win for the Dodgers. So I'm going to be on the Dodgers run line here. It feels like a trap line, but after the Dodgers lost today, I think they're going to bounce back. All right, moving on to game number 2, we have the Guardians heading on the road to play the Nationals. Now, I tried to find a few different ways to play this game. Luis Ortiz has looked good, but again, his xFIP last year and this year aren't that great. He's been striking out a lot of people, but he's still, has been walking a ton. Outside of his last start, he's given up at least and 1 earned run. He goes pretty long into games. He throws a lot of pitches, but again, I think he's kind of due to get beat up. And on the road, he's been really bad. 70 ERA this year on the road, and he's had 3 starts on the road, so it's not even a small sample. He definitely just doesn't pitch nearly as well on the road. And it's not like he's been playing elite teams on the road either. He's played Pittsburgh, Angels, and a Padres team without Jackson Merrill or Fernando Tatis Jr. So I don't really trust him really at all. And this national team is one of the better offenses at home versus righties. It's been top 5 the last 2 weeks over last week, top 10 in 2025. So I think they're going to find some success against him. On the other side, we have Jake Irvin, who I think is a really bad pitcher. He's been getting, looking like he's been maybe a bit better. He's had some glimpses of being really good, but mostly against bad teams. He's given up 4 earned runs at least to like the 3 decent offenses that he's placed. And he's been historically much worse at home. We're getting good weather. Ballpark Pal is expecting 7% increase in runs at Nationals Park. We're getting a decent line here. Now again, Nationals have one of the worst bullpens. Guardians bullpen is a little bit taxed, and I think we're going to see a ton of doubles here and some home runs into center field. So I'll be on the over 8.5 on this game. I think again the Guardians on the road against righties have also been a pretty solid offense historically. So over 8.5 at minus 120 for me. Moving on to game number 3, we have the Padres versus the Yankees. Now, I pretty much told myself and everybody that I would never take a first 5 under ever again because I have an extremely bad record with them, particularly losing in the bottom of the 5th. It's just not a fun bet to sweat out when when shit hits the fan really early. But again, Nick Pivetta has looked amazing. The Yankees have looked pretty mediocre lately. Again, they're still without Jazz Chisholm, who's one of their better lefty hitters. Nick Pivetta's been really good at home and on the road. He's a 1.78 ERA. He's looked really, really good. His last 4 starts, he's only given up 4 earned runs over like 20 innings pitched or 25 innings pitched. Only given up 4 walks, and he has like 30-something strikeouts. So he's been, in my opinion, one of the best pitchers in baseball right now. And we're getting him against the Yankees team that's kind of been struggling offensively. Again, are they one of the best teams against righties? Yes. But they've been a bit outside of the top 15 over the last 2 weeks against right-handed pitching. So they're definitely hitting a little bit of a rough patch. And the other side, we have Carlos Rodon, who historically hasn't been good, but he's been really, really good against his Padres lineup. 81 at bats, he's kept them to a .21 average, an OPS of under .600. So I think he's going to have a really good outing. Again, weather is going to be kind of rainy, going to be cold. Winds are going to be blowing way in, so home runs should be way down. Doubles should be way down. Again, Yankees ballpark always has home runs available in right field. That's going to be even down too. So, yeah, I think we should. I don't really want to risk this game again. As far as I understand, at least with my book, that if I take the first 5 under and it cashes, even if this game gets rained out, which I think it will, potentially by the 6th or 7th inning, it still cashes because I didn't take a full game under. So, yeah, I'll be on the first 5 under here at -120. I think both these pitchers deal. I think both offenses have been a little bit underwhelming. I know the Padres have had a couple good games, but still, they're putting up a couple goose eggs. And I think Rodon at home has just been a pretty reliable starter for them. So, yeah, first 5 under 4.5 for me at -120. All right, moving on to game number 4, we have the Reds versus the Braves. Now, I was thinking a lot of ways to play this game. Brady Singer obviously is a good pitcher, but he's kind of a pitcher that is kind of glorified home pitcher. He definitely has regressed a lot when he hits the road. Since 2023, he's a sub-4 ERA at home and an over 5 ERA on the road. So we're getting him here against a Braves team that does hit righties really well at home. Over the last 2 weeks, top 10 offense on the season, but borderline top 5 offense with 127 WRC plus. So I think they're going to be able to get to Brady. On AJ Smith-Shawver, I don't really like him. He's still really young. He's only 22. He definitely has some control issues. Tends to walk a lot of people. Gives up some home runs. He doesn't really go far into innings. And I think the Braves bullpen is looking a little bit hurt here. He's been really bad at home this year in his only home start against Miami, where he gave up 7 hits and 3 walks. I just don't really trust him. I really don't. I think both of these teams have been really good against right-handed pitching. Again, if you followed me enough, you'd understand that I think this Reds team, for some reason, is one of the best offenses in baseball on the road. Top 5 versus righties on the road on the season. Top 10 over the last 2 weeks. They're just a really good team on the road for some reason. And again, we know that Braves are really good at home. 2 mediocre pitchers, decent weather. We're expecting an increase in runs. I think we're going to see a decent amount of runs here. Part of me, originally I wanted to take Braves team total. And then I'm like, maybe I'll take Reds team total. And then I'm just like, why not just take the over? Again, I don't really love taking over at Truist Park. It is a little bit of a pitcher ballpark, but wind is blowing out. I think we could see a couple home runs with the amount of hard contact that both these pitchers give. So, give me the over 8.5 here in the Reds versus Braves game. All right, moving on to game number 5, we have the White Sox heading on the road to play the Royals. Now, this is a weird one because the Royals at home are just so bad. Like, obviously the White Sox are a bad team, but this Royals team at home on the season versus righties are the worst offense in baseball. That yes, you could say they've maybe been improving, but I honestly feel like they've just been playing shittier pitchers. I just don't know if I trust them. I really don't. Shane Smith, despite being a White Sox pitcher, is actually looking really good. Arguably the best pitcher on the White Sox right now. He's went at least 6 innings in 2 of his games. He sometimes has some control issues with his walks, but his K rates are being decent. His ERA is really good. His WHIP is almost under 1. Like, he's probably been one of the better pitchers, and he hasn't played easy lineups. He's played the Brewers, the Twins twice, the Red Sox twice, and Cleveland. These are all really good offenses, and especially having to face the same team twice. Typically, that's not a good thing for when a team gets to see you again, and he held that really, really well. So I think he's going to have a really solid start. White Sox bullpen, despite being really bad on paper, has been actually kind of decent lately. Again, it's not good. It really isn't good. But this Brandon Earst guy has been really solid. Frazier, Ellard, Schuster have been good. There's a couple of shitty ones. Steven Wilson's been fine. But they used kind of a lot of their shitty arms today. So I'm going to take a shot here. I wanted to take first 5. But there's a good chance that Cole Ragans has a perfect game. But the White Sox have been hitting lefties. They don't hit righties well at all. But They're actually being a top 10 offense on the road or versus left-handed pitching over the last 2 weeks. And not even a bottom five offense against lefties on the season. So I think they could get a couple runs off Ragans here. I think Shane Smith is really good. Can go 6 innings. And I think I just don't trust this Royals offense enough to potentially blow out. Obviously, it's possible the Royals win this game by like 30 points, but I'm going to take my shot here at the White Sox. Sprinkle the money line as well. All right, moving on to game number 6. We have the Astros versus the Brewers. This is probably my least confident game of the slate. I just think it's a complete toss-up. I think both these teams are not very good against right-handed pitching. Ronel Blanco is a wild card. Tobias Myers has been terrible this year. Who knows? Some games he only went like 2 innings. I just don't know what to expect from him. Part of me wanted to take the under, but these two pitchers could just both completely implode. Pretty much the fact that Tobias Myers is historically last game only went 2 innings and the Brewers bullpen is really bad. I just going to take the Astros. I think both these teams are terrible, but Brewers at home versus righties is worse than the Astros on the road versus righties. Ronel Blanco, I think, is a slightly better pitcher this year. Tobias Myers still has to prove himself. And you're getting a fully rested Astros bullpen, who on paper have a lot of really good talent. So I'll be on the Astros here at a really, really decent price at minus 105. But again, not super confident. This is going to be a really close game, I think, all the way. All right, moving on to the next game, we have the Giants heading on the road to play the Cubs. I'm not going to overthink this game. This is going to be a probably really low-scoring game. The weather is going to be really, really tough. It's going to be really cold. It's going to be wind blowing in. And typically, especially when you're playing on a field like Wrigley Field, it's just going to be a pitcher's game. Home runs are going to be extremely unlikely. Double and triples are going to be really unlikely. It's basically just going to be a game of singles. And I just think both these pitchers are serviceable. Logan Roop, a lot of people don't like him, but his xFIP's been fine. He's been a top 50 pitcher, xFIP of .350 over 30 innings pitched. If anything, Boyd is the worst pitcher, but he's shown really good glimpses of being elite. And the Giants just don't hit lefties that well. And the Cubs actually hit lefties really well. They don't hit righties they're still an elite offense. They hit everybody, but they definitely struggle a little bit more against righties. So Giants bullpen solid. I don't know. I just think this is going to be a really hard game for batters to get runs across without getting home runs. Like the Cubs offense is elite, yeah, but how often do you see them only get runs because of how many home runs they hit in games? If they're not getting home runs, it's just going to be a fly ball fest. Yeah, same with the Giants. Genuinely, I don't see them really getting a lot of runs outside of solo home runs nowadays. So I'll be on the under 7.5 here at plus 100. All right, moving on to our next game. We have the Pirates heading on the road to play the Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals actually did decently well at not using up a lot of their bullpen, but I'm going to be on the Pirates' money line here. The Cardinals still had to use a good chunk of some of their bullpen arms, obviously playing a doubleheader. I think their team might be a little bit tired. Those are some really close games. They won both of them. So at least they're not going to be in a true revenge spot here against the Pirates. They might be feeling like they just stole a couple games. Again, people talk shit about Mlodzinski, but if you look at his xFIP, he's actually a good pitcher. xFIP of 3.67. Yeah, on paper his ERA is 6.58, but it suggests that he's getting really unlucky. He doesn't walk that many runners. He gets a decent amount of strikeouts. Again, and he's played some pretty decent offenses in some tough spots. So I think he's good. Miles Mikolas, I think he's terrible. He's had some good starts. He has back-to-back games giving up no earned runs. I think he's due to get lit up here, like he did against Boston a few weeks ago. Pirates have really, really good numbers against him historically. 138 at-bats, 42 hits, average of .304, OPS of .780, on-base percentage of .317. And the Pirates team has really been hitting righties decently well lately. If you'd asked me 3 weeks ago at this price, I would say you're crazy. Just smash the Cardinals. But yeah, this team, this Pirates team has been hitting pretty good. If you look at them over the last 2 weeks, they've actually been almost a top 5 offense on the road versus righties. So I think they can easily get to Mikolas. They have in the past, and I think they will today now that they're feeling really good about themselves. So I'm going to be on the Pirates money line here at plus 130. I think it's really good value. All right, heading on to the next game. Another game that I think is a complete toss-up. It's always hard to bet on these games that are off of a doubleheader. I'm going to be on the Mets first 5 money line here. Griffin Canning's, like, on paper, he gives up at some home runs. That's kind of been his downfall. Yeah, I don't know. Ketel Marte has not looked that insane since his return. Same with Pavin Smith. These guys that typically kind of only get home runs. I just don't think this Diamondbacks like offense is really even that talented. Like, yeah, they have some really good players, but if Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte aren't hitting, these other guys really struggle to kind of do stuff on their own. And I think Canning is, again, relatively serviceable. His xFIP, if you look at him last year, he's like a pretty average 4.35 ERA guy. But I think he's honestly better than Bryn Nelson. Bryn Nelson did have a slightly worse xFIP last year. And he's basically been like a top 50 pitcher this year with an xFIP of 3.56. He's pitching, honestly, really, really well. And Bryn Nelson hasn't really pitched much at all this year. He's 1-0 with a 5 ERA, so he kind of got bailed out by his team. He's kind of been playing more of a bullpen role lately. And yeah, I don't know. If you look at his numbers against this Pittsburgh team, this Mets team, really bad. 75 at bats, he's given up 24 hits, 16 of which are extra base hits, 9 home runs, 7 walks, only 13 strikeouts. That amounts to an average of .320 or an OPS of 1.2. So this Mets team has owned the shit out of Bryn Nelson in the past, and now the Mets just came off really, really tough 2 losses where they lost 2 games back to back where they had really good chances to win them. I think they're going to be playing with vengeance in this, and I think Bryn Nelson is going to have to take the brunt of it. So I think the Mets completely light up Bryn Nelson. I think Griffin Canning has a decent enough start to allow the Mets to be winning after 5. Again, Mets bullpen got obliterated based off of the doubleheader, so I'm not interested in dealing with any of that shit. So giving the Mets first 5 here at minus 110. All right, in the last game of this disgusting slate, we have another game that I don't really feel too strong about. I'm just going to go off my model here, which has the Athletics winning in the first 5. Again, it has them winning the full game as well, but I don't particularly trust. Like, this Mariners bullpen has some talent, and I don't really want to fade it after it's kind of been rested. And Luis Severino, not really a good pitcher, especially not last year, but Bryce Miller on the road has always been a bit of a liability. Like a lot of pitchers that pitch in at home in the Mariners ballpark, it really inflates how good you are because you're pitching in a really, really favorable park for pitchers. But the second you kind of have to hit the road, it shows your true colors. So I think he's going to have some problem here against this pretty young Athletics ball team that's been batting in this minor league park for a ton of games already. I think they kind of know where to hit to get those home runs, more comfortable with the ballpark. I think that's going to be an advantage for them in the first 5. I've again no interest in dealing with this Athletics bullpen. Miller had a blow up against the Marlins. I think he's going to be in his own head. So my favorite arm from the Athletics, maybe not even playing. If he does play, I think he's going to be way outside of the zone. I think he needs to figure it out. Again, Luis Severino has given up a ton of hits. But he's kind of one of those pitchers that pitches like Patrick Corbin, Senzatella. Like, these guys have insane whips, but their ERAs are low because they find ways to get out of innings. I think we're going to see that today. And Louis been pitching like shit at home this year, but historically, especially last year, he was really, really good at home. I think he figures that out again, especially after a really good start in his last game. So, yeah, give me Luis Severino here. I think Athletics finds him a couple hits off Bryce Miller. I think this could be like a 3-2, 3-1 kind of game here with the Athletics. But I do think Mariners maybe find a way to win this late, so no interest in backing them full game. All right, and that is everything for May 5th, 2025. Pretty small slate. Honestly, no game that I love. Like, if I was betting these on different unit sizing, these would probably all be quarter unit bets. So if you're not interested in tailing, I fully get it. This is a slate that I kind of, it's kind of a whatever Monday slate, which you never really know what you're going to get. But I have had a lot of success on these days somehow, so I guess we'll see how that goes. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Cheers.